I want to begin by telling you something that may disturb you, but if you receive it properly, it will deliver you. The wealthiest place in the world is not the gold fields of South Africa. It is not the oil fields of the Middle East. It is not the diamond mines hidden under the earth. It is not Wall Street. It is not the stock market. It is not the bank downtown with marble floors and security guards at the door. I got news for you. The richest place near your house is probably the place you drive by quietly. The place with grass cut low, stones standing in rows, flowers fading in the sun, and names written on granite. It is the cemetery. Now, I do not say that to make you afraid of dying. Death is not the greatest tragedy. Everybody in this room, everybody watching me, everybody listening to this message, one day will leave this planet. The tragedy is not that a man dies. The tragedy is that a man dies with everything God put in him still inside him. The tragedy is not a body in the ground. The tragedy is a gift in the ground. The tragedy is not a grave. The tragedy is a grave full of unused potential, unspoken wisdom, unwritten books, unsung songs, unstarted businesses, unreleased inventions, unmentored children, unborn ministries, and visions that God gave to people who never obeyed them. Please write this down if you're taking notes. The cemetery is not only filled with bodies, it is filled with assignments. There are books buried in the cemetery that should have been on your shelf. There are companies buried there that should have employed your children. There are songs buried there that should have healed nations. There are ideas buried there that should have solved problems in cities. There are schools buried there, ministries buried there, discoveries buried there, apologies buried there, leadership buried there, and prayers that were never prayed with authority because someone kept postponing obedience. And that is why I came to bother you today. I did not come to entertain you. I came to interrupt your excuses. I came to ask you a question that heaven has been asking since you were born. What gift did God put in you that the world is still waiting to receive before you leave the planet? What did he hide in your spirit? What did he place in your mind? What burden keeps returning to you? What problem makes you angry because you were born with the solution? What dream keeps surviving every season of disappointment? That thing may be evidence that God deposited something in you that is not for you alone. You are not empty. You are not an accident. You are not just trying to survive until retirement. You are carrying something. God never sends a person to the earth without cargo. When a manufacturer makes a product, he builds into that product the ability to fulfill its purpose. So when God sent you here, he packed you with gifts, vision, capacity, creativity, compassion, leadership, wisdom, and solutions. But listen to me carefully. Potential is only wealth while you are alive. Once it is buried, it becomes a silent testimony against procrastination. So I do not want you to be depressed by mortality. I want you to be focused by it. The fact that life is temporary should not make the believer fearful. It should make the believer responsible. You do not have forever to forgive. You do not have forever to build. You do not have forever to write. You do not have forever to mentor that young person, start that ministry, develop that skill, heal that relationship, obey that instruction, or release that gift. Time is not your enemy when you respect it. Time becomes your servant when you give it an assignment. And if while you are hearing this, you sense God awakening responsibility in you, then I want you to stay connected to this kind of teaching. Subscribe, keep growing, keep feeding your spirit, keep surrounding your mind with voices that refuse to let you bury your assignment. Because some people will help you forget what God told you. You need voices around you that remind you you were born loaded. Now, I want you to say this with me, and I want you to say it like a person who has made a decision. Say, I will not add my gift to the cemetery. Say it again. I will not add my gift to the cemetery. One more time. Like your future depends on it. I will not add my gift to the cemetery. That is the decision. Not just to live long, but to live released. Not just to die old, but to die empty. Because the tragedy is not death itself. The tragedy is dying with God's investment still locked inside you. Now, the reason why you must not add your gift to the cemetery is because God never created anything empty. Please write that down. God never created anything empty. Everything God makes comes loaded When God made the tree, he did not just make a tree. He put a forest inside the seed. When God made Adam, he did not just make a man. He put nations inside his loins. When God made a child, he did not just make a baby to be admired in a blanket. He put a generation inside that little body. That is why you must be careful how you treat people, because you never know what God has hidden in the package you are criticizing. I got news for you. You are not trying to become valuable. You were born valuable. You are not trying to become important. You arrived with importance. You are not trying to manufacture purpose with ambition, with titles, with applause, with money, with degrees, with people calling your name. Purpose is not invented by the product. Purpose is discovered from the manufacturer. A chair does not decide what it is for. The maker decides before the chair is built. A microphone does not sit on the table and vote on its assignment. The manufacturer designed it to carry a voice. So when God created you, he did not wait for your family to approve you. He did not wait for your nation to recognize you. He did not wait for your enemies to like you. He designed you first, and then he sent you. That is why human labels are so dangerous when they are believed. People may call you ordinary, but God calls you loaded. People may call you late, but God calls you on schedule for his purpose. People may call you rejected, but God calls you selected. People may call you unqualified, but God says, I put the qualification inside the assignment. People may call you damaged because they only saw what happened to you. But God calls you equipped because he knows what he placed in you before anything happened to you. Tell your neighbor, I am loaded. Come on, say it like you believe it. I am loaded. Your gift is not decoration, it is equipment. God did not put ability in you so you could sit in the corner and admire yourself. God did not give you a mind so you could only think about survival. God did not give you hands so they could remain idle, a voice so it could remain silent, compassion so it could remain sentimental, leadership so it could remain hidden, creativity so it could remain private. Your life is not an accident. Your life is an assignment. And the proof that God sent you to the earth is that there is a problem somewhere that your gift was designed to answer. This is why you must stop comparing yourself with people who do not understand your design. A seed does not look like a forest, but the forest is in it. A baby does not look like a nation, but the nation is in it. You may not look like what you carry right now, but do not let your present form deceive you. The Creator hides great things in small packages. He hides oak trees and acorns. He hides leaders in shepherd fields. He hides kings and rejected sons. He hides deliverers in baskets on rivers. He hides prophets in ordinary houses. And he hid something in you. But potential must be released through service. God never gives a gift for private admiration only. He gives gifts for contribution, for dominion, for leadership, for transformation. Your gift is not for your ego, it is for your generation. Your gift is not just to make you famous, it is to make you useful. Your gift is not just to give you income, it is to give the world impact. So do not ask only, how can this gift bless me? Ask, who is waiting for me to become disciplined? Who is waiting for me to obey? Who is waiting for me to stop hiding? Say this with me. I was born carrying value. Say it again. I was born carrying value. Now say, I must release what God placed in me. That is the beginning of responsibility. You are not empty. You are not ordinary. You are not an accident looking for meaning. You are a designed person carrying a divine deposit, and the assignment of your life is to discover it, develop it, discipline it, and deliver it before you leave this planet. Now, I want you to understand something very carefully. Potential is one of the most powerful words in human experience, but it is also one of the most dangerous words if you do not understand it. Please write this down. Potential is dormant ability. Potential is reserved power. Potential is hidden strength. Potential is untapped capacity. Potential is unused success. Potential means you have something but has not yet been manifested. It means there is more in you than we can see. It means your present condition is not the full evidence of your true capacity. But I got news for you. Potential is not enough. Potential is wonderful. But potential by itself does not feed anybody. Potential does not build a house. Potential does not write a book. Potential does not start a school. Potential does not heal a marriage. Potential does not change a nation. Potential is only wealth while it is available for use. If you keep it locked up, if you keep admiring it, if you keep talking about what you could do, what you might do, what you plan to do, what you are thinking about doing, then your potential remains trapped. A gift celebrated but never used is still imprisoned. That is why some people are dangerous to their own destiny, because they have become professional admirers of their own potential. They say, I know I can write. They say, I know I can lead. They say, I know I can sing. They say, I know I can build something. They say, I know I have ideas. But let me tell you something. God is not glorified because you have ideas. God is glorified when your ideas become obedience. Heaven is not impressed by unused capacity. The Creator does not receive honor from what He placed in you if you never release it into the earth. There are people walking around right now carrying a library in their spirit, but there is no book on the table. They are carrying a school in their mind, but no child has been taught. They are carrying a company in their imagination, but no employee has been hired. They are carrying a song in their soul, but no wounded person has heard it. They are carrying a solution for their community, but the community is still suffering because the solution is still private. Look at the tragedy. A person can be full and live as though they are empty. A person can carry answers and still complain about problems. A person can be loaded with treasure and still die like a poor man because they never made a withdrawal. So do not measure your life only by what you own. That is too small. Do not measure your life by your car, your clothes, your address, your salary, your title, your jewelry, your applause. Those things may tell people what came to you, but they do not always tell heaven what came through you. The real measure of life is not what you accumulated, it is what you released. The real question is not how much did I get? The real question is how much did I give birth to? How many ideas left my mind and entered the world? How many gifts left my private place and became service? How many solutions did I deliver before my time expired? Tell your neighbor, release it. Come on, tell him again, release it. Because potential only becomes legacy when it leaves the private place and enters the world through obedience. As long as it is in your head, it is potential. As long as it is in your notebook, it is potential. As long as it is in your prayer closet only, it is potential. But when you discipline it, when you develop it, when you package it, when you practice it, when you submit it to service, when you put it in the hands of people who need it, then potential becomes contribution. Contribution becomes impact, and impact becomes legacy. This is why execution is spiritual. Faithfulness is not just having a dream. Faithfulness is doing the work the dream demands. Some of you are full of ideas, but God is calling you now to become faithful with execution. Stop worshiping the possibility and start obeying the responsibility. Stop saying one day. Stop saying when everything is perfect. Stop saying when people support me. The seed does not become a tree by being admired in the hand. It must be planted. It must be broken. It must enter the soil. It must push through resistance. And then what was hidden becomes visible. Your potential is wealth, but if you bury it, it becomes evidence. It testifies that God invested and you protected comfort more than purpose. I want you to make a decision today that nothing God placed in you will remain unused because of fear, laziness, procrastination, or the need for approval. Say with me, I must release what I carry. Say it again, I must release what I carry. Because the world does not need you merely full of possibility. The world needs you faithful enough to deliver what God put inside you. Now let me take you one step further, because discovery without responsibility becomes selfishness. It is possible for you to discover your gift and still misunderstand why God gave it to you. Some people discover they can sing, and then they use the song only to get applause. Some discover they can speak, and then they use the voice only to get attention. Some discover they can lead, and then they use leadership only to control people. Some discover they can create, and then they use creativity only to build their name. But I got news for you. Your gift was not given first for your ego. Your gift was given for somebody's need. Please write this down. Every divine gift corresponds to a human cry. If God gave you the gift to teach, it is because ignorance is crying somewhere. If God gave you leadership, it is because disorder is crying somewhere. If God gave you creativity, it is because limitation is crying somewhere. If God gave you wisdom, it is because confusion is crying somewhere. If God gave you compassion, it is because pain is crying somewhere. If God gave you administration, it is because chaos is crying somewhere. If God gave you music, it is because somebody's soul needs language for what their mouth cannot explain. The gift in you is evidence that God heard somebody before they ever met you. That is why purpose cannot be reduced to the question, what will make me happy? That question is too small. That question is immature. That question makes you the center of something God designed to flow through you. The better question is, who becomes whole when I obey God? Who gets taught when I stop hiding? Who gets organized when I accept responsibility? Who gets healed when I release compassion? Who gets courage when I speak? Who gets employed when I build? Who gets delivered when I stop making excuses? Who is sitting in darkness because I have not yet turned on the light God put in me? Tell your neighbor, somebody is waiting on you. Come on, tell them again, somebody is waiting on you. That is why your obedience is not private. Your delay does not only affect you. Your fear does not only affect you. Your procrastination does not only affect you. When you bury what God gave you, you may be burying an answer to another person's prayer. You may be burying a solution for a family. You may be burying a strategy for a business. You may be burying a word that could have kept somebody alive. The gift in you is proof that somebody else's future is connected to your obedience. This is why Jesus told the story about the talents. One man received 5, one received 2, and one received 1. The issue was not that they all had the same amount. The issue was whether they were faithful with what belonged to the master. The one with 1 talent buried it because he was afraid. Listen carefully. Fear did not excuse him. Fear exposed him. The master did not say, I understand your anxiety. He called him unfaithful because what was in his hand had an owner, and the owner expected a return. That means buried potential is not neutral. Buried potential is mismanaged trust. Some of you keep saying, it is my gift. Be careful. It came through you, but it did not originate with you. You are the steward, not the owner. You are the vessel, not the source. God deposited it. Time is measuring it. People are needing it, and heaven is expecting return from it. So do not bury it in fear. Do not bury it in comparison. Do not bury it in offense. Do not bury it because somebody did not clap. Do not bury it because somebody criticized your first attempt. The master's coming back, and the question will not be, did they like you? The question will be, what did you do with what I gave you? Say this with me. My gift is not mine to bury. Say it again. My gift is not mine to bury. One more time, like you are breaking agreement with fear. My gift is not mine to bury. That is responsibility. Your gift is God's answer to someone's cry. So stop asking only how purpose can fulfill you and start asking who purpose was sent to serve through you. Because when you release what God placed in you, somebody gets an answer. Somebody gets strength. Somebody gets direction. Somebody gets hope, and God gets his return. Now, if your gift is not yours to bury, then we must talk about the shovel. Because most people do not bury their gift in one day. They bury it one excuse at a time. Please write this down. Excuses are expensive cemeteries built before death. An excuse is not just a reason. An excuse is a grave with words on it. It is the language we use to cover disobedience. And after a while, we decorate it, we protect it, we defend it, and we call it wisdom. Some of you say, I am afraid I might fail. Some of you say, I am afraid people will criticize me. Some of you say, what if I succeed and cannot handle it? Some of you are waiting for permission from people who did not create you. Some of you are blaming your childhood, blaming your father, blaming your mother, blaming the neighborhood, blaming the school, blaming the economy, blaming your age, blaming your money, blaming your lack of money, blaming your husband, blaming your wife, blaming the people who left, blaming the people who stayed, blaming the people who laughed at you. And some of you are comparing yourself with somebody else until your comparison has become a prison. I got news for you. An excuse may comfort you today, but it can rob a generation tomorrow. Your excuse may make you feel better tonight, but it may keep a child ignorant next year. Your excuse may protect you from criticism now, but it may deny a city the solution God placed inside you. Your excuse may help you avoid embarrassment, but it may also help you avoid destiny. Be careful when your comfort requires your calling to remain silent. Fear is one of the most misunderstood emotions in the life of purpose. Some people think fear means stop. No, fear does not always mean stop. Many times fear means you have reached the edge of the assignment. You never need courage for what is comfortable. You need courage when your gift begins to demand movement. You need courage when the dream becomes bigger than your experience. You need courage when obedience requires you to step where applause is not guaranteed. So do not let fear become your master. Let fear become your signal. It may be telling you you are close to the border of your own life. Tell your neighbor, fear is not my stop sign. Come on, say it again. Fear is not my stop sign. Fear may be present, but fear does not have to be president. It may sit in the room, but it does not have to sit on the throne. You can be afraid and still obey. You can tremble and still write. You can be nervous and still build. You can be criticized and still continue. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision that obedience is more important than comfort. And let me tell you why comfort is dangerous. The grave is comfortable. The grave is quiet. Nobody criticizes a corpse. Nobody challenges a corpse. Nobody expects productivity from a corpse. The cemetery is peaceful because everything there stopped moving. But life is noisy, life is demanding, life is risky, life requires decisions, movement, correction, discipline, relationships, deadlines, and responsibility. If you want a quiet life so badly that you refuse movement, you may be rehearsing for the cemetery before your time. Procrastination is burial in slow motion. Every year you delay can become another layer of dirt over the gift. Every not yet can become a handful of soil. Every when I am ready, every when I get more money, every when they recognize me, every when the children grow, every when I retire, every when the pressure is gone, can cover the treasure until even you forget where you buried it. And then one day you call it lost, but it was not lost. It was postponed until it became hidden. So I want to give you a practical assignment. Do not just shout today. Do not just clap today. Do not just say amen and go home with the same shovel in your hand. I want you to write down one excuse that has been protecting your disobedience. Just one. Name it. Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of criticism? Is it comparison? Is it age? Is it money? Is it waiting for permission? Is it what happened to you when you were young? Write it down, because what you refuse to name, you will continue to serve. Then beside that excuse, write one action you will take this week to break its authority. Not next year, not someday, this week. Make the phone call, register for the class, write the first page, apologize to the person, start the plan, practice the gift, submit the proposal, serve one person, build one step, because an excuse loses power when obedience starts moving. Say this with me. I will not excuse my burial. Say it again. I will not excuse my burial. One more time. I will not excuse my burial. Your generation does not need your excuses. It needs your obedience. God did not place treasure in you so you could explain why it never came out. He placed it in you so that before you leave this planet, you could release it, serve with it, bless with it, and return to Him empty. Now, after you have named the excuse, you must learn how to interpret the storm. Because some of you think that because you are under pressure, God has rejected you. Some of you think that because people betrayed you, your gift is canceled. Some of you think that because there's been delay, heaven has forgotten your address. But I got news for you. Pressure does not cancel your gift. Pressure reveals your gift. Pressure refines your gift. Pressure strengthens your gift for greater responsibility. Please write this down. The storm is not always your enemy. Sometimes the storm is the classroom of your assignment. Sometimes the contrary wind is not there to destroy you. It is there to teach you how to rise. The eagle does not run from the storm like ordinary birds. When the storm comes, the eagle uses the same wind that frightens other birds to lift itself higher. What comes against the eagle becomes the force that takes the eagle above the place where small birds panic. That is why you must be careful how you interpret opposition. Everything fighting you is not finishing you. Some things fighting you are training you for altitude. Tell your neighbor, use the wind. Come on, tell them again. Use the wind. If they lied on you, use the wind. If they rejected you, use the wind. If they delayed you, use the wind. If they misunderstood you, use the wind. If the door closed, use the wind. If your family did not believe in you, use the wind. If the season became uncomfortable, use the wind. Do not waste pressure by only complaining about it. Pressure is too expensive to waste on bitterness. If you are going to suffer, at least learn. If you are going to be opposed, at least grow. If you are going to be stretched, at least become stronger. Some gifts are powerful, but they are immature. And an immature gift can be dangerous. A gifted person without discipline can wound the people they were assigned to help. A gifted person without humility can make the gift a throne. A gifted person without character can use divine ability for selfish ambition. That is why God does not always expose you as quickly as you desire. You are asking for a platform, but God is working on your patience. You are asking for recognition, but God is working on your motives. You are asking for open doors, but God is working on your obedience when nobody sees you. Because your gift can take you into rooms where your character cannot keep you. I want you to hear me carefully. Visibility is not validation. Applause is not maturity. A crowd is not evidence that a person is ready. There are people who are famous and still undeveloped. There are people who are talented and still dangerous. There are people who can impress a room, but they cannot manage pressure. They cannot receive correction. They cannot forgive betrayal. They cannot serve when nobody claps. They cannot remain faithful in delay. So God will test the gift before he trusts it with weight. He will allow hidden seasons, small beginnings, difficult people, long nights, and uncomfortable responsibilities, because he is not only developing what you can do, he is developing who you are while you do it. That is why you must stop praying only, Lord, get me out. There is nothing wrong with asking God for deliverance, but sometimes the better prayer is, Lord, what are you producing in me through this? Are you producing patience? Are you producing courage? Are you producing discipline? Are you producing wisdom? Are you producing compassion? Are you producing endurance? Are you producing humility? Because if you escape every process too early, you may arrive at your opportunity too weak to carry it. The storm is training the gift for altitude. The betrayal is teaching discernment. The delay is teaching preparation. The discomfort is breaking your addiction to ease. The pressure is proving what is real in you. Diamonds are not made in comfort. Gold is not purified in cold places. Seeds do not become trees without breaking the shell. So do not curse every hard season. Ask God for interpretation. Say this with me. Pressure will not bury my gift. Say it again. Pressure will not bury my gift. One more time. Pressure will not bury my gift. I will rise with it. I will learn through it. I will mature under it. I will not let pain make me bitter when God wants it to make me better. Because the gift that survives the storm becomes useful, humble, disciplined, and ready for greater responsibility. Now, after the storm has trained the gift must receive direction. Because a gift without vision can still waste strength. Please write this down. Vision gives your gift a place to go. A gift without vision is energy without assignment. It is movement without measurement. It is activity without destination. And there are many people who are gifted, but they are tired because their gift is scattered in too many directions. I got news for you. Being busy is not the same as being fruitful. You can be busy reacting to everybody's emergency and still never release what God sent you to deliver. You can be answering every phone call, attending every meeting, helping every project, chasing every opportunity, and still be neglecting the assignment that carries your name. That is why vision is so important. Vision tells your gift where to concentrate. Vision tells your time what to protect. Vision tells your money where to go. Vision tells your emotions what not to entertain. Vision gives discipline to desire. What is vision? Vision is the ability to see the finished thing before it appears. Vision sees the book before there is a manuscript. Vision sees the ministry before the room is full. Vision sees the business before the first customer arrives. Vision sees the school before the first child sits in the chair. Vision sees the family legacy before the children are mature. Vision sees the healed community while the streets are still broken. Vision sees tomorrow so clearly that it begins to govern today. Tell your neighbor, see it before you see it. Come on, say it again. See it before you see it. Because if you cannot see it inside, you will not build it outside. Everything visible was once invisible. The chair you are sitting on was first an idea. The building you are in was first a picture in somebody's mind. The clothes you are wearing were first a design. The song you love was first a sound in somebody's spirit. So do not despise the invisible stage. That is where destiny begins. But vision must become practical. Some of you have dreams, but you have no schedule. You have passion, but you have no plan. You have ability, but you have no deadline. And a gift without a deadline can become a toy. You play with it when you feel inspired. You pick it up when life is easy. You put it down when people criticize you. No! A gift becomes powerful when vision gives it direction, discipline, and a deadline. So I want you to stop living by reaction and begin living by assignment. Stop waking up only to see what happens. Stop letting other people's opinions become your calendar. Stop allowing distraction to spend your mortality. You are not here forever. That should not make you afraid. It should make you focused. A person who knows what must be released does not have time to entertain every invitation, every offense, every argument, every comparison, every foolish conversation, every temptation to delay. Mortality becomes focus when vision is clear. Now I want you to write something down. Do not just feel this. Put it on paper. Write the gift. What has God placed in you? Is it teaching? Is it leadership? Is it music? Is it business? Is it writing? Is it counsel? Is it organization? Is it creativity? Then write the people it serves. Who is assigned to benefit from what you carry? Children, leaders, families, the poor, entrepreneurs, the wounded, your community? Then write the problem it solves. Ignorance, confusion, poverty, disorder, pain, hopelessness. Then write the first product or action it requires. The first class, the first chapter, the first meeting, the first proposal, the first song, the first service, the first phone call. And then write the deadline for beginning. Not the deadline for dreaming, the deadline for beginning. Because vision that never starts becomes imagination. Vision that starts becomes responsibility. And once you put a date beside obedience, your future begins to challenge your present. Your excuses lose authority. Your distractions become obvious. Your gift begins to stand up and say, I was not placed here to be buried. Give me direction. Give me discipline. Give me a deadline. Say this with me. My gift needs vision. Say it again. My gift needs vision. One more time. My gift needs vision. I will not scatter my strength. I will not waste my life reacting. I will decide what must be released, who must be served, what problem must be solved, and what must exist before I die. Because vision is the compass of purpose. And when vision takes hold of a gift, that gift stops wandering and starts producing fruit. Now I want to bring you back to where we began. Because every vision must be judged in the presence of the cemetery. Not because we are afraid to die, but because we are responsible to live. One day your body will finish its assignment. One day your breath will leave. One day your name will be spoken in the past tense. And the question will not be how many people admired you, how many things you collected, how many titles they printed beside your name. The question will be, did you release what God placed inside you? Please write this down. Legacy is not what people remember about you only. Legacy is what remains on earth because you refuse to keep God's deposit locked inside you. Your life must become evidence. Evidence that you were here. Evidence that you served. Evidence that you solved something. Evidence that you loved somebody. Evidence that you built something. Evidence that you obeyed God with what He gave you. There are two ways to arrive at the end of life. You can arrive tired but fulfilled, or you can arrive comfortable but full. You can arrive like a vessel that was poured out saying, Lord, I used the gift. I wrote the book. I taught the child. I trained the leader. I healed the wound. I built the business. I spoke the truth. I gave the apology. I mentored the young. I carried the vision until it became fruit. Or you can arrive full of songs never sung, books never written, businesses never started, people never mentored, courage never used, wisdom never shared, and solutions never delivered. And that, my friend, is the real tragedy. I got news for you. Comfort is a poor substitute for fulfillment. Do not protect your gift until it becomes your burden. Do not preserve your life so carefully that you never spend it on purpose. The seed that refuses to leave the bag may remain safe, but it will never become a tree. Safety without fruitfulness is not success. It is preservation without multiplication. Tell your neighbor, I must leave evidence. Come on, tell them again. I must leave evidence. Your obedience should remain in people after your body is gone. Your courage should still be speaking when your mouth is silent. Your teaching should still be guiding when your hands are folded. Your love should still be healing. Your leadership should still be producing leaders. Your vision should still be opening doors for people who never had the privilege of meeting you. So I want you to make a vow inside yourself today. Not a shallow emotional vow, a serious vow, a vow before God and before your own mortality. I will not die with the book still trapped in me. I will not die with the wisdom still hidden in me. I will not die with the courage still unused in me. I will not die with the solution still private in me. I will not die with the leadership still sleeping in me. I will not die with the apology still stuck in my pride. I will not die with the mentorship still delayed. I will not die with the vision still sitting in a notebook while a generation waits for fruit. Say this with me. I will not leave my assignment in the hands of regret. Say it again. I will not leave my assignment in the hands of regret. Regret is a terrible executor of destiny. Regret can only tell you what you should have done. Obedience lets you do it while time is still in your hands. And for those watching, I want you to write it where you can see it. Write, I will not die full. I will release what God placed in me. Or write the specific truth you are choosing to live out according to God's original purpose. Because this is not just a message to admire. This is a decision to make. Your legacy begins the moment you stop protecting the deposit and start releasing it. So now we have come to the place of decision. God created you loaded. Potential is not something you are trying to beg from heaven. It is something heaven already deposited in you. But potential must be released, because hidden treasure blesses nobody while it remains hidden. Your gift is not for your ego. It is God's answer to somebody's cry. Your excuses are not harmless. They are graves built before death. Your pressure is not proof that you are finished. It is training your capacity for greater altitude. Your vision is not decoration. It is the discipline that tells your gift where to go. And your legacy is not a speech at your funeral. It is what remains because you obeyed God while breath was still in your body. Please write this down. The goal is not merely to live long. The goal is to leave empty, not empty of joy, not empty of love, not empty of peace, but empty of the deposit, empty of the book, empty of the song, empty of the wisdom, empty of the solution, empty of the leadership, empty of the mercy, empty of the courage, empty because you poured out what the Creator poured in. One day I want you to stand before God, not full of excuses, not full of unfinished assignments, not full of delayed obedience, but as a faithful servant who can say, Lord, I have poured out what you gave me. I serve the people you assigned to me. I released the gift you trusted to me. I did not bury your investment in fear. That is fulfillment. That is success. That is the kind of ending that makes a life complete. So before this day ends, I want you to do three things. Identify one gift, not 10. One. Identify one person or one group that gift is meant to serve. And identify one act of release you will begin within the next 7 days. Write the page. Make the call. Teach the child. Start the meeting. Share the idea. Serve the person. Begin the discipline. Do not let this message die in emotion. Turn it into obedience. Say this with me. I will die empty. Say it again. I will die empty. One more time. Before God, I will die empty. And I got news for you. The same Creator who placed the gift in you can give you the courage to release it, the discipline to develop it, and the wisdom to serve with it. Stay connected to teachings that call you back to purpose. Share this message with somebody carrying buried potential. And write the truth you are choosing to believe and live out before God. I will not die full. I will release what He placed in me.